So Sutra 2.10 continues to ask us to investigate our ability to focus. And not only that, and continues to make us look at what steals our focus. What is the cause, um, basically, of when we lose focus and thoughts arise? Well, what caused us to lose that focus, right? And so that's a big part of it. And so as we investigate that, even in our own day, you'll find that the senses, the senses are definitely the first thing that tend to draw us out into these objects of awareness and into sort of the eventually the thoughts. Because as we lose that connection inwardly, as the sutra is telling us, as we lose the connection inwardly, we become drawn out and thoughts begin to become more and more of our reality. And so this doesn't have to occur though, because the senses are here to serve us. The senses are actually a part of the play of consciousness, the play of Shiva. They're not necessarily drawing us out. They could just be informing us from within. And the idea is that that which you are perceiving and that which is the perceiver are both Shiva. And we tend to get drawn out into this manifested small form of Shiva, these objects. But the perceiver that's perceiving these objects is also Shiva. And so if we're able to keep that focus on the perceiver while we perceive the objects, we don't actually lose focus. The senses no longer pull us away from our center. And that'll be the work that we're going to do this morning together. So let's take a look at this quote from Swami Muktananda. This is from a sutra a while back, 1.11, but it speaks directly to this concept that we're in Sutra 2.10. He says, the relationship of the senses and sense objects is this. While the senses perceive, delight in, and act on their respective objects, Shiva is the experience, and Shiva is what is experienced. One who plunges into the inner self with this knowledge and with a still mind becomes God. And so let's begin our meditation practice with this objective. We're going to be working towards really trying to connect to the perceiver of the senses. And we'll begin similarly as we have a couple of meditations recently with the physical body, with the sense of touch. And so here you'll just begin by making some gentle movements in your body. Just very therapeutic movements, but movements, definitely moving a little. The low spine ripples up through the middle of the back, the shoulders, the neck, and the head. And right away, you're the one creating this movement, but you're also the one feeling it. So see if you can keep your attention on the feeling of the movement. The feeling is the perceiver. Does it feel therapeutic? If so, where? Where in the body does it feel? And then bring your movements about 50% less. So there's less physical sensation, but there's still a sense of feeling. There's still an observer noticing this feeling. And then naturally allow that feeling to become even more subtle to where you're really exerting no effort towards movement and you're simply observing the feeling of stillness. you almost begin to feel as if you are observing like a Buddha statue's body. It doesn't quite feel like your own body when it starts to really get still. In the Vijnana Bhairava, it talks about observing the body as like a shell. And here you can probably feel that as you hold your focus on noticing the feeling of the body, maybe you even notice your heartbeat or the subtle rise and fall of the chest. To feel the body is to observe it. And to observe it is to be the observer. Notice how your mind doesn't drift so much in this state of observation. Connecting to the observer is the kind of focus we are talking about in the sutra. Whether you're observing one thing like your still body or many things, it's connecting to the observer that is the meaning of focus. As you sustain that stillness, the breath becomes much more tangible as a feeling. Allow it to be subtle. If needed, gently smooth it out or gently lengthen it in order to keep your focus on it. But again, the focus we are really seeking is observing the breath. We'll take this same sense of inner focus to one more sense, to the sense of hearing. Maybe where you are right now is rather quiet, or maybe you can hear noises from other rooms or outside of your home. But try to let those sounds come to you instead of reaching out or interpreting sounds. Observe them. Imagine yourself like a big satellite dish, and the sounds just come to you. Let your attention sink towards the heart. The observation that we are seeking is in the heart, not in the head. Listening from the heart, feeling from the heart. And you can continue to be the observer of the body and observer of the sounds, observer of the senses. But as you sink towards the heart, let your attention turn towards the breath. Feeling your breath will keep you in the state of the observer, and it will draw you inward over and over, more and more deeply. The sutra describes that when our practice falters, thoughts arise, and it's so easy for that to happen. And so when you feel yourself thinking, or even just not feeling connected, it's simply a sign to reconnect to that observer. And so you might move your spine so gently so that you can feel something, and then you observe that feeling. You try to hold on to that space, and you might breathe just a little bit deeper and feel that breath. Notice the stillness of your body. Fill your awareness with these observations. Because our focus is defined more by the observer than the object, nothing can distract you because everything can be observed. And as we finish our practice for today, once again, just observe, but this time your own state of being, your own energy. And see if you can keep that observational quality going as you transition into the next part of your day. Remember, nothing can distract you from this because our only goal is to simply observe. So, namaste, and thanks everybody for showing up. It's so wonderful to see you all here. It's really, really sweet. Thanks again. It's just awesome to have you. See you soon.